I met Jonathan Plutzik, the owner of the Betsy, and his wife Leslie Goldwasser, and Jonathan's sister Deborah Briggs. I met them, I don't know, the years just passed, but I guess it's probably about 10 years ago now. And they came into my office. They had been in the offices of a lot of big music executives. Why? Because they had an idea for something that they wanted to produce, which was a tour with young people from Zimbabwe who were severely physically disabled. And Leslie grew up in Zimbabwe and was part of a school there. That's actually the only school for disabled children in Zimbabwe. And when she got off the plane on a visit to go see her mom, she was told, hey, you have to go to the school and see this band that the head of schools created over the last year or whatever. And she went to see it. She was very, very moved, as everybody is. And she went up to talk to them about, you know, how she might be able to help them going forward. You know, what do you need? Expecting that they wanted a new PA system, or they needed more keyboards, or they wanted more marimbas, or whatever it was. And what they asked for was to tour America. They wanted to tour America. And I think there were maybe 8 of them or 9 of them. And they pretty much all needed assistance or aids to help them, you know, with their instruments, just, you know, moving around. And so it was a huge undertaking to make that happen. So Jonathan and Leslie found their way into my office because they had this idea. They wanted to do it, and they were looking for help wherever they could get it. And at first, you know, I didn't really know, aside from cheering them on for such a noble effort, I didn't really know how we could help. But eventually, what we did was brought them over, and they became part of the Lennon Bus tour for that year, which I guess must have been 2007. And we did 2 months, and the band was called Liana, which means it's raining. And in Zimbabwe, the rain is this great gift. So they called themselves Liana. And the lead singer is this amazing woman named Prudence, who's got a magnificent voice by you know, any definition, and also, you know, just magnificent in her appeal, in the way that she interacts with people while she's performing, or just, you know, talking to them. But she basically has, you know, no arms or legs, and so it's really, really startling. And it of course is incredibly moving to hear her story, because they're just, you know, terrible. Prejudice isn't even the word to use about how these children and adults are treated. But anyway, there was a documentarian that was shooting video of them in Zimbabwe, and then when the decision was made to bring them to the U.S., he followed along. So the camera crew was, you know, following them throughout the whole tour. And we went to Stanford University and Columbia University and House of Blues venues, and, you know, across the country with the Lennon Bus. So for us, it expanded sort of the definition of what we did. And for our student sessions, because, you know, typically we're having students come in and they're creating something original almost on a daily basis, and working with the members of Liana at many of these stops was an incredible experience for everybody that was involved. So that's a little taste of my, you know, first experiences with the Plutziks. And at the sort of to the tail end of that, they told me about this idea that Jonathan was working on to buy this building, the Betsy Ross, and to create a hotel that had a focus on art and culture. And of course, I was excited about that. And when they got it together and launched it, they invited us to participate in programs here in South Florida. And so I think, you know, this visit that we're here now for is probably I think maybe our 4th or our 5th program with them. Some years ago we did a very robust project called Honor Our Veterans that actually coincides with Veterans Day, which is what, I guess it's tomorrow.
We're celebrating today.
Oh, we're celebrating today. So we actually reposted this big project that we produced with the Betsy, Miami-Dade County Schools, and the City of Miami. That's called Honor Our Veterans, and it has interviews with vets of all ages. So, you know, we had one of the oldest living female pilots from World War II. A lot of older gentlemen from World War II, but also young kids coming back, 19 years old. We did a lot of interviews here in Miami at the VA hospital.